I guess since Andrew took all the fun stuff, I'm here to talk about numbers. And well, what we know, most of us are engineers, so we might love numbers. So I got a bunch of slides with numbers and graphs. So let's see. Okay. All right. This is one of our cable stay bridges, and this is located in Brunswick, Georgia, and we got a total of 2 cable stay bridges in Georgia. So this is a cool organizational chart I want to share with you guys. I just wanted to show you guys how we are connected to the commissioner, who is the head of Georgia DOT. And on the top left corner, that's our commissioner, Mr. Russell McMurray, followed by our chief engineer, Meg Perkle, followed by our deputy chief engineer, Andrew Heath, and followed that by Haral Patel, our division of engineering. He's over there. And we got Don Diggerman and myself. Followed up with another work chart, and that kind of gives us an idea like how our bridge design, maintenance, and preservation and inspection office is set up. And we got 2-side design and maintenance plus inspection. So design is one side of the coin versus maintenance and inspection is another side of the coin. And since I'm related with bridge maintenance unit, I would like to talk more about that. We have a total of 54 staff with the bridge maintenance unit, and that is a combination of inspector and engineers. So bridge management roles and responsibility. GDOT is more centralized. Bridge design is responsible for all design and overseeing of all new bridges, bridge widening projects, and replacement project. Whereas bridge maintenance unit handles major preservation work and rehab work, such as overlay, hydro demo, cap replacement, deck replacement, pile jacketing, and so on, scout repair. Forgot about the district maintenance. They help us as far as maintaining, doing some maintenance work on the bridge. They are responsible for handling some minor work, such as patching spalls on the deck, cap, column, remove debris, pile encasement, repair bridge guardrails, remove vegetations, and so on. So forget about all the boring stuff I just mentioned. I got some interesting fact about Georgia and the inspection area. Georgia is divided into 12 inspection area as far as bridges are concerned. These areas are divided based on the number of bridges each area has. So the oldest bridge we still inspect in Georgia was built in 1872. And this is a county-owned structure, and if you look at the top left corner, that's a cover bridge, which is about, 15 miles away from here. And we have 5 structures which were built in 19th century that are still
My name's Joshua Kofer. I work for Georgia DOT Bridge Maintenance Unit. I'm a bridge inspection supervisor, and we basically inspect all bridges, either a road over them or under them. We inspect those bridges to ensure safety for the traveling public. We have just under 15,000 bridges in the state of Georgia that we inspect every 2 years. We basically go out and we'll walk across the deck of the bridge, looking at the deck, making sure everything, the joints are sealed, making sure there's no damage on the deck, and then we'll go underneath the bridge and inspect the beams, make sure the beams are in good shape, look at all the columns and caps, check for any scour if it's on a waterway. And we'll typically do 4 to 5 bridges a day. We'll look for any deficiencies on the bridge, any type of cracking, exposed rebar, any corrosion on the beams, make sure the bridge is functioning properly and there's no no damage to the bridge that's going to render it unsafe for people to travel. As far as our bridges go, they're a very integral part of our infrastructure. Without these bridges here in Atlanta or anywhere you really go, I mean, you drive down the expressway, you see how many bridges you go under or cross over just driving through Georgia. We have a lot of bridges that we need to maintain and keep in good working order. Without those bridges, then your infrastructure is no good. So when my crew and I go out and inspect bridges, we always look at it from the standpoint of our family members are driving across these bridges, our wives, daughters, mothers, and fathers. So we feel that when we finish looking at this bridge, if it's safe for our family to travel across this bridge, then we've done our job and we've kept the traveling public for the state of Georgia safe. The bridge maintenance unit has 11 topside teams, which are basically what we do. We inspect the surface of the riding surface of the bridge. We go underneath and look. We also have 3 specialized teams that use snooper trucks and bucket trucks to get up high where if anything's over 24 feet high, we can't reach it on a ladder, then they'll get in the bucket truck and they go up and take a closer look. And then we have 2 dive teams that look at anything that's underwater.
Hi, my name is Joseph Daniels, and I'm a dive supervisor for the Underwater Bridge Inspection Team. I've been with the department for 15 years. Our job is to inspect the bridges from the waterline down. There's a topside team that does from the waterline up. We have 2 what we call deep water boats, and one of them we do scuba out of, one of them we do surface supply out of, and then we have 2 shallow water boats that we do smaller rivers and large creeks, or the boat ramp's small and it's not able to accommodate the big boats, then we have to use the smaller boats, and we do strictly scuba out of them. We always have a standby diver ready. We suit up a standby diver, have him on the bank, and we use communications, we use full face masks, and to make sure that we're doing a safe dive. Today we were doing an H-pile bridge, which is a steel pile that has a concrete encasement on it. And what we were doing was looking to make sure that there was no exposure underneath the concrete encasement, exposing the steel pile below it and to the water, so it could rust or corrode. So we would go along and to each pile and fill underneath the encasement to make sure it's not scoured out and has exposure of the steel underneath it. It's very important to have these bridges inspected underwater, because most bridge collapses have been due to stuff happening underwater that's not been detected or you can't see. We take pride in that we're down out here and to protect the public, so the traveling public will be safe crossing the bridges. My name is Joseph Daniels. I'm a dive supervisor for the Underwater Bridge Inspection Team, and this is your tax dollars at work.
I hope you guys enjoyed that quick little video. Next thing. All right, as Joe mentioned, we inspect, we have about 15,000 structure here in Georgia that we inspect. GDOT in-house team inspect all the structure in Georgia. That's a fun fact, both the state-owned as well as local. We contract out in-depth inspection of only 3 structures. 2 of them are cable stayed, and 1 is the tunnel, which is not a part of bridge. And as he also mentioned that we have 11 topside inspection team. These are a graph with like the number of bridges they inspect every 2 years. So in an average, they inspect about 1,300 structure every 2 years, the topside team. The team 12 is our unique hybrid team, which we call it specialized and topside hybrid specialized team. They do the Fulton County. They're only required to do a Fulton County because this is where the Atlanta is, and we got a lot of structure in just Fulton County, roughly about 1,000 structures there. We got 2 specialized team. They inspect roughly about 650 structure every 2 years, and we got a in-house dive team. They inspect roughly about 1,050 every I'll correct the information for the specialized. That is like every 4 years for the specialized team, and for the underwater, it's every 5 years. They inspect about 1,050 structure every 5 years. And again, this is I'm showing a picture where our specialized inspection team using S-pins 862 to inspect one of the cable stay bridges located in Brunswick, South Georgia. This is the S-pin. So let us talk about the program that bridge maintenance unit use. First, I want to talk about the inspection program or inspection software that we use. We're using InspectX to document all the inspection and prepare federal NBI and NBE submittals. We use BRM, that is AstroWare Bridge Management Software, to generate the list of bridge projects for preservation, rehab, and replacement. We will compare that with our in-house spreadsheet just to make sure we got check and balances. And the last one is a BridgeWatch. BridgeWatch is a software by U.S. Engineering. We use this to monitor extreme weather conditions such as hurricanes and flood events. And here is a screenshot of the inspection program we use. I took a screenshot from InspectX. Here on the top left, it gives you a total number of assets Georgia has. Based on the recent tape submittal, we have 14,831 structures. Out of those, 1,370 are currently posted, and 58 of them are closed. Bottom half of it, we're showing the percentage of good, fair, and poor bridges. On the left, we go based on the number of bridges. So we got roughly 76% in a good condition, 22.5% in a fair condition, and 1.5% in a poor condition. That is based on the number of structures. And Graham, you are more than welcome to verify those numbers. I like to give him more time. And based on the deck area, it looks even better. We got 78% in a good condition, 21% in a fair condition, and less than 1% in a poor condition. So we are very proud of that.
I believe you.
Thank you. And so this graph shows the condition of bridges in Georgia based on 2023 tape submittal. We're comparing the state-owned bridges versus non-state-owned or local. You can clearly see that state-owned bridges, we have roughly about 80% in a good condition, 20% in a fair condition, and 0.4% in a poor condition. And if you look at the non-state-owned, it's a pretty good number. It is 72.4 in a good, 25 in a fair, and 2.5 in a poor condition. And knowing this difference, there is slight difference between the state-owned versus local. Knowing this difference, we are working closely with our local agencies to improve the condition of their bridges by providing assistance they need, such as repair recommendation. We have even put together a bridge repair manual, which has a typical repair detail to be used by district and locals. We also provide assistance with funding for the replacement of those bridges. Regarding local funding for local structure, Don will be covering this topic in more detail. And we also set up some sort of teams quarterly meeting with the district maintenance to go over all the issues they're seeing with their structures and try to program them accordingly. We want to capture all the structure they've been making multiple visits before they get really bad, real quick. So this one is showing all the district. We have total of 7 districts, and each district are provided with set amount of budget and are responsible for management and maintenance of their infrastructure in that region, but the bridge office is still centralized. And Georgia has a total of 59 counties, as Andrew mentioned early on. So this is a a fun slide I would consider. This is a condition of bridges comparison between 2013 versus 2023. The graph definitely demonstrates a significant improvement on the overall condition of our structure over the time. If you look at back in 2013, we see we're close to 49% in good, almost 47% in fair, and 4.5 in poor condition. It jumped up significantly, went to 76% in a good, 22.6 in a fair, and 1.6 in a poor condition. And at this very moment, I do want to give credit to all my predecessors, like, who set up all these rules, who set up the program to get it up there. And I would like to thank Andy Doyle, who was our state bridge maintenance engineer, and Mr. Clayton Bennett. If you don't mind, you can raise your hand. Yeah, he does mine. Okay. Yes, that's Clayton. I'm just giving you due credit. Yeah, they planted the seed, and now we're seeing the fruits right now. And they steered the seed, and now it feels like we're selling in the right direction. So I do want to give credit to you. So I guess beside me, you guys probably are wondering how we achieve the current condition of the bridges. After deep thinking, we think that there are 5 areas where we made a change and that impacted this. One, we increased funds of preservation and rehab work. Back in 2013, the rehab and preservation fund was $15 million, and currently we're sitting on $45 million. We have gradually increased our annual bridge replacement funds as well. And we have provided several NBI, element inspection training, to our inspection teams. And for that one, we have monthly teams meeting where all this knowledge, unique findings are shared during those meetings. And we do run a BME University once every 2 years. That's all depending on the funding. And during those times, we use slides, we use slides and lesson learned to train our newer inspectors. So I'm going to talk about the funding for bridge maintenance from 2013 to 2023. It shows gradual increase, from 2013 to 2019, 2020, and then it went down. That was during the COVID, and then we're back to 45 now. This is a pie diagram that shows our annual budget for BMU and how we distribute based on the type of work we do. We spent about $10 million for preservation work, and we spent about $20 million on rehab. We spent about $30 million on the rehab, and we spent about $5 million for the quick response. And as far as the quick response, it includes header repair, bearing adjustments, patching deck holes, scour repair, debris removals. Those kind of work which cannot wait for a year or two to go through the full programming cycle. And they are critical. If they are not handled in a short window, then it could get worse. And those quick response funds are totally state funds, whereas preservation and rehabs are 80-20. So we have set up some criteria to select bridges for preservation, rehab, or replacement. And this is a starting point, and we'll make modification as per needed. So I just want to say, as far as the preservation is considered, we consider polymer overlay and painting as a preservation. GDOT does not do a deck wash since we don't get a whole lot of snow and we're not throwing in a lot of salt on our deck. So for a project or for a structure to qualify for polymer overlay, we have set up a ground rule substructure and superstructure has to be 7 and the deck has to be 6. And what it does is it kind of gives us an advantage to get those poor low-hanging fruits, like the fair bridges, to the good. And for a painting project, we set up a criteria for steel beams and piles The last duration of last painted should be more than 25 years, or if they didn't do a good job of painting, then we have a separate criteria: CS1 less than 80%, CS2 less than 20%, greater than 20%, and CS3 greater than 10. These are initial setup, and we'll keep monitoring, see, and modify as per needed. For the structure to be qualified for rehab project, based on our current criteria, it needs to meet all the below criteria. First thing, the deck, super, and sub with NBI rating of 5 or above. The bridges that are designed using H20, HS20, and HL95 design load. Anything below that does not get qualified for rehab. Bridges that are between 25 to 75 years old. They need to meet all these criteria. And similarly, for the structure to be qualified for replacement project, these are our current criteria. It needs to meet one of the below criteria. Any one component, deck, super, sub with NBI rating of 4 or below, and other component of NBI rating of 5 or 6. The second one is all the deck, super, and sub with NBI rating of 5 or below. And bridges that are designed using H10, all this older design, H15 and H15 design loads. And bridges that are older than 75. That was the cutoff for rehab. And functionally obsolete bridges. And there's one caveat, like, if the district are making multiple trips to do the same kind of repair on the bridge, we like to bump that up for replacement. During the COVID, as we all have experienced, GDOT had got a fun tool or new tool added to their toolbox. After COVID, Microsoft Teams has been an essential platform for maintaining communication with the communication for the GDOT. The GDOT has used Teams to communicate within and outside of the department. We use Teams for centralized communication by creating various groups within the team, such as emergency response team, hurricane team, a snow event team kind of thing. What it has done for us is this has reduced the number of phone calls, text messages, emails, video calls, like share filing, documents, because everything is being shared in one place, like we're not making multiple calls. In the past, like I would report to the state engineer reports to the director. It just keeps, we keep making multiple phone calls. But with Teams, we can get everybody in the same call, and it has reduced the response time and commute for us. And I wanted to share this picture. This was a pretty recent event, like back a couple years ago on I-16. The dump truck had its bed raised, and it hit the bridge and moved the bridge by close to 6.5 feet. And we received a call around 1:30, something like that. So before I go, I want to share a couple of brief videos with everybody. This is one of the bridge hit event.
Alex.
This happened in North Georgia in Bartow County. It was over Old Grassville Road over I-75. This was one of the events, and I got one more video for you guys. This is not the same bridge I mentioned early on. This is a different location, and we think this is exactly what happened, but
Dump truck is about to go under this bridge, and he's got his thing to figure out. Oh!
Yep.
Stop.
The only difference between this video and the previous photo was this one, bridge one, and the other one, the dump truck owned. So it was 1 and 1, so we're even.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.